What's up guys, Numbers here with another Oregon Trail video, and this time I'm going to talk about skills. So first things first, let's go ahead and find this skills tab on the bottom of the character creation screen, and here we have the skills tab. Here you can see that we have 120 points to purchase skills for our character. And depending on which occupation you choose, you might get some skills for free. For example, the banker gets the commerce/trade skill for free. Okay, so what do these skills actually do, and which ones are the good ones, and which ones are pretty much worthless? Starting with these 50 pointers, the medical skill does pretty much what you'd expect it to do. It makes it so that sick characters are more likely to recover from diseases. River work, also pretty obvious, you're less likely to dump your wagon when you're crossing rivers. Now for me, having sick people and dumping my wagon on rivers are two of the most tilting elements of the game, so these are probably two of my favorite skills. On the other hand, if you really like to hunt, then sharpshooting is a must. This skill makes it a lot easier to one-shot large game animals like buffalo, and it also dramatically reduces the possibility of accidental gunshot wounds. And if you plan on doing a lot of hunting, you're probably also going to want to use the tracking skill. This skill will spawn more game animals on hunting screens, and here I believe that the bear and the bunny rabbit would not be here if it wasn't for the tracking skill that I have. Additionally, the tracking skill comes with some cool side benefits. It gives you better chances of finding lost party members or livestock, and it increases your chances of finding alternative routes for blocked or flooded trails. Moving on to the 40 pointers, blacksmithing and carpentry do the same thing. They make it less likely that your wagon parts will break down in the first place, and they make it so that you're more likely to be able to repair them yourselves. The two traits do stack, so if you have both, you're very unlikely to get hosed by this. And broken wagon parts are also quite tilting, so these two traits might seem like they're pretty cool. However, in the next episode, I'll show you some other techniques that you can use to help avoid broken wagon parts. So these skills I haven't found to be particularly useful, which is also something that can be said of the farming an animal skill. With this trait, your animals are less likely to get lost, stolen, stuck in quicksand, sick, injured, or die. And you also get smallpox immunity, which is quite rare to begin with, so there's not much value there. And the animal events that you would be minimizing are much less annoying than some of the other ones, in my opinion. Moving on, we have the botany skill, which increases your chance of finding wild fruits or vegetables. And it also seems to increase your yield by 50%. So where you would normally expect to collect around 15 pounds of fruit or vegetables, with the botany skill you could get around 20-some pounds. Now if this skill sounds pretty lame, it kind of is. Part of the problem is that stopping to gather fruits or vegetables takes half a day of travel time, during which a party of 6 people would eat about 10 pounds of food. Spending this time to gather 15, 20, or even 30 pounds of food just isn't going to be a game-changing play unless you're already hurting for fruits or vegetables. And of course all of this can be avoided by purchasing a few 22-cent bags of vegetables at the beginning of the game. The commerce skill we talked about in a previous video, it helps you get better deals in trades, but as I discussed earlier, the trading system in Oregon Trail is so broken already that you don't need a special skill to finesse people in trades. Moving on, we have the cooking trait, which is my pick for most underrated skill in the game. The cooking trait allows your food to last longer. Apparently, for every pound of food eaten, some small amount of food is wasted, and I went ahead and ran the numbers on this, and I found that the cooking skill makes your food last longer by a factor of about 20%. Additionally, the cooking skill makes it less likely that you'll get food poisoning, and it provides a regular boost to morale. Now, the extent of this morale boost, and how it would compare with the musical skill, which also boosts morale, is pretty hard to pin down. However, from my experience, morale is much less of a problem when you have the musical and the cooking skills. The sewing skill claims to make your clothing last longer. Apparently, your clothes will slowly wear out and disappear over time. However, I don't have any evidence of this effect actually ever taking place. So take that for what you will, the sewing skill at 10 points may or may not do a thing. And finally, the Spanish skill. If you encounter Spanish-speaking sprites, you get a translation. However, if you know Spanish or have access to Google Translate, this skill is pretty well worthless. So there you have it, we've touched on all of the skills, but what if you're only interested in one or two skills, for example, these two? What happens to the 50 points that we have remaining? As it turns out, these points get added directly to your final score, so if you decide to forego skills altogether, you get a free 120 points on your final score. And if all you're interested in doing is setting the highest score possible, you're probably going to want to no-skill it, and just hope RNG is in your favor. Alternatively, if you're looking for a smooth journey to Oregon City without any of your people dying, then I like the package of medical, river work, and cooking. Finally, if you're playing Oregon Trail just to hunt, then you're going to want sharpshooting and tracking. And if you want to challenge yourself, you can go ahead and experiment with some of the other skills. That wraps up just about everything I know about skills in Oregon Trail. Hopefully you learned something that will enhance your Oregon Trail playing experience. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.